You're listening to the TV Obsessive channel, presented by TVObscast.com. Okay, welcome back to the TV Obsessive podcast. As always, I'm Cameron Crane, executive editor of TVObsessive.com, joined as always by Ryan Kirksey, writer and contributor for this site. Our 32nd podcast episode. So we've been doing this for a bit. You can go back and listen to the archives. I think they hold up for posterity. How you doing today, Ryan?
I'm doing great. Finales are always good to talk about. We've got one coming up today, and true story. I am going over to my in-laws tonight for chili, so I'm a little concerned about what the topic of conversation is going to be about. We'll touch on that a little bit later.
Now, do you eat biscuits with chili?
Normally I'm in Texas. Normally here in Texas, we're either straight chili or it's cornbread or crackers, stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Same. I mean, same. I'm not in Texas, but I don't think I've ever had biscuits with chili. But it sounds pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Certainly not eating chili and spaghetti. With apologies to people in Cincinnati. um. So yeah, we're going to talk about the season 5 finale of Fargo, titled Bisquick. For some reason, they misspelled Bisquick. I don't know if there's anything to read into there. We'll get into that in the latter part of the pod, as per usual, though. First, we'll talk a bit about what's in the news and what we've been watching this week, things like that. We're sitting here, it's January 16th. What's in the news, Ryan?
Well, everything in the past couple of days has been dominated by talk of the Emmys. I think in the least surprising news ever, we got a lot of awards for Succession, a lot of awards for The Bear, a lot of awards for Beef, and everybody else was sort of fighting for position with all the scraps. So, any thoughts on that? No real surprises, I guess, based on what we saw on the Globes and other awards.
Right. Like, if anything, Beef would be the surprise, but it's winning awards everywhere. So it's clearly the critical darling of the
Yes.
year, as it were. The Emmys, it's for The Bear season 1. The
All
timing
right.
is all off, right? They're originally going to do these in the fall. Um, so I don't know if the existence of season 2 influenced anyone,
That's been quite the
voting this
discourse, at least
category.
here on Tuesday morning, of how many of these Academy members thought they were voting for season 2 or were influenced by the fact that they had watched season 2 and therefore gave much of if not all of the awards in comedy for The Bear, which we'll have to save the comedy thing for a second, but
Well, we've been on that before. You put up a Twitter poll or whatever I saw. I don't know, like, is The Bear a comedy? I don't really think it is.
yes.
I was a little disappointed. I mean, look, and The Bear is great, so they deserve awards. That's fine. I'm not griping about that directly, but the fact that then we don't get any awards for Barry,
Right.
also in all the comedy categories, and in particular, like, I wish they would have at least given Bill Hader one of them, give him the writing or directing one, like split those or something.
Or
Um,
give him the actor, because Jeremy Allen White's going to have at least, I would imagine, two more opportunities to get it.
yeah, I mean, you could also give him the actor one, but look, if looking, the Barry episode that was nominated for both writing and directing was the finale.
Yes, okay.
And where, Bill Hader wrote and directed, and like, giving him credit on the side behind the camera, at least I would have appreciated. And instead, they gave both of those awards to Christopher Storer. um I don't know, how do we parse this, like,
Exactly. Well,
it just feels like they voted chalk. They're like, yeah, everyone agrees these are good shows, so let's just vote them in all the
since
categories.
you referenced it, yeah, last night after the Emmys, I put a poll out on X,
Yeah.
on Twitter, as it were, and you should know most people agree with you. So as of right now, the results are 78% believe The Bear is not a comedy.
Yeah, all right, good.
So
That's-
you're in the majority.
yeah, there we go. But I think they wanted to give it awards, and that's part of why they did it. And then the
Yeah,
length, and I don't know. And like, what if they put it in drama, then it would have lost the Succession all over the place. And
exactly.
instead, Better Call Saul gets to lose again. I saw, shortly before we came on, So not only has Better Call Saul never won an Emmy, which is quite striking for the best show
Yeah.
of the century, but it now has the record for most Emmy losses, as it were. Um,
53,
I think it
58?
was 53 nominations and
Oh
zero
boy.
wins. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's perennially been nominated deservingly, and it's just
Yeah.
consistently lost to, Game of Thrones, now
Succession.
Succession, basically.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's like, actually, I want to go. The bigger gripe would be pointing back to the past, and it's like, Game of Thrones shouldn't have beaten it. Come on.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
All right. I did find another post tweet, whatever you want to call it, that I knew you would like. You familiar with Bill James, the grandfather of baseball stats and research? Anyway,
Okay.
he's active on Twitter, and he just put out a tweet right before we went on that said, Succession featured, all these different things, and he's put out a poll. Which one of he's basically mocking Succession. Which one of these things did you like the most about the show? A, the horrible people, B, the repetitive plots, or C, the petty squabbles?
Yeah, there you go. D, the shaky cam.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to rag on Succession. I'm on the record that I am not an enjoyer of it,
Yeah.
but certainly I know a lot of people are. It's very critically acclaimed, and I'm just leave that as being kind of not for me. But
Yeah.
yeah, that is an amusing little poll there.
Yeah, so no surprises. And I guess is that kind of it for television award season. We've had Globes, Critics' Choice, and Emmys.
Um, yeah, I mean, I'm not positive about smaller ones, as it
SAG
were.
Awards maybe still to come, but
Um, yeah, I don't have like a full schedule. But I think they already did do like the Directors Guild Awards
yeah.
and some of these other ones as well. So yeah, probably about closes it out.
Okay.
Um, what else we got in the news here? A couple
Yeah, I was
things here.
noticing there was a lot of hand-wringing, pearl-clutching about the NFL putting a playoff game on a streaming service for the first time this year on Peacock. So if you wanted to watch the Chiefs and the Dolphins and Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, you had to have a subscription to Peacock. There were a lot of people upset about this, but apparently it was the largest live streaming audience ever, got more than 23 million viewers, which is significantly more than several playoff games that were on terrestrial TV last year. So, for all the complaining, NBC is getting quite a big check from this playoff game after earning the rights for it.
Yeah, I mean, I did see various people griping about it, and my read, I guess, is just like everyone was like me, sitting there saying like, "Yeah, what do you mean they're putting it on a Peacock only?
Yep.
That's not
Yep.
okay. I object." And here's my $6. So watch the
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
game.
of those 23 million, if even 5 million of them were new subscribers, I mean that's a quick 30 mil for Universal, I guess, to show this game.
Well, it's a weird thing because, NBC has the rights to all sorts of NFL games, and
Right.
I think that I think the games that are on NBC you can watch on Peacock, but they were taking it to another level to say this is only going to be on Peacock. And of course, this is the second one. There was a regular season game that I'm
Yes.
sure did not drive subscribers because I think it was the Bills versus the Easton Stick-led Chargers.
Right, right.
Um, I subscribed then, by the way. That's when I got my graphic on there. But yeah, no, I get it. It's been a while though since they put. I mean, I think you almost have to go back to when they put Monday Night Football on ESPN
Yes. Yeah.
as the kind of turning point to say this is only going to be available for people who are paying money, as it
Yeah.
were. I don't know if the youth today even recall being able to just turn on the TV with an antenna.
Exactly.
Um, So I don't know. I was listening to Mike Florio a little bit, and he was saying some things about how well they do maybe need to be a little bit careful here. Uh, the way they bargain for the games and packages relies on the
Yeah.
Sports Broadcasting Act of 1961,
Yeah.
which I'm sure
Yeah,
everyone
there were
knows
several
about.
things saying that the NFL could lose its broadcasting trust if they keep proliferating it like this.
Yeah, it is interesting. Well, the way the NFL sells packages of games
Yep.
would be an antitrust violation if not for the specific law they passed in 1961 to allow them
Yeah,
to do it.
exactly. Exactly.
So,
Well, I think the point is this was not a colossal failure, and that means it's going to happen again next year. That there's going to be another streaming service playoff game, I'm sure of it.
yeah, the Paramount Plus.
Oh God.
Probably, well, that's still CBS, right? Is what
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
doing.
Anybody that's got I mean, theoretically, anyone could bid on it, but anyone that's got a platform already with the NFL is going to have sort of a front row seat to having an opportunity to get one.
Yeah, one would imagine. But again, they do need to be a little bit careful here. I don't think anyone wants the government revisiting
No.
that law they passed in 1961. And they do not want people asking questions like, is streaming broadcasting?
Yeah.
No one wants that, I think. So I wouldn't expect, I was talking to someone on I guess it was on Blue Sky who was like really freaking out about it. I was like, I wouldn't expect it to be like quickly, radically the case that everything's just streaming.
Yeah. No,
That's
no,
not
no. Too much money on those networks to go fully away from it. Well, speaking of cannibals, no, I don't know how to segue.
Dan
Um,
Campbell.
yeah. No, I don't know. Did you ever see this first season? It sort of became a quick hit. Evan Peters as Jeffrey Dahmer on Monster on Netflix. Did you watch this?
Oh, I didn't watch that. No, I know it
Well, this
was like kind of a hit. Yeah.
He was, I mean, the show was hit or miss, but he was spectacular. I mean, just absolutely spectacular as Jeffrey Dahmer. The show became a hit, got renewed for two more seasons very quickly. And so they've been casting the second season of Monster. It's going to focus on the Menendez brothers. Remember these guys, Kyle and
Oh
Eric from
yeah.
1999
Yeah,
that killed their
sure.
parents in New York. So the parents have been cast, and I just found that an interesting choices. Javier Bardem and Chloe Sevigny going to be the parents. I guess the parents who don't make it very long,
Yeah, I
but
was like, they probably won't be in the show very much.
yeah, that's right.
Who's playing the
Uh,
brothers? Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, I've been seeing
Um,
news of who's going to be the brothers, but this is great. I mean, I'm a big Javier Bardem fan, and I think that there will be some sort of backstory to this show, not just a murder and move forward through the trial. So this is interesting casting to me.
yeah, it is interesting casting. And Ryan Murphy, I expect it to be nice and like kind of glossy,
Yeah,
flick, on the line of melodrama, sort of, but not
right.
quite, the whole Ryan Murphy thing. I feel like the shows always get renewed, but then they don't always make them. Like,
Yeah.
what happened to The Politician? I sort of liked that one. I thought they were
Oh
going to make more
yeah.
of that, and it was like,
Yeah.
I'm busy with other things.
No, this show, I mean, it just sort of was this combination of right right star, right time. Sort of release it in that fall window where you're sort of thinking about Halloween and all this, just these just sort of that creepy air about everything. And it just kind of hit really quickly. Obviously, people love true crime. It was very well shot. So I mean, clearly this was this case of the Menendez brothers was the case of the century before O.J. Simpson came around. So it'd be interesting to see how they tackle that.
Yeah, it should be interesting. Yeah. So that's on Netflix, right?
Yes, sir.
Cool. So yeah, what have you been watching lately? Sort of segueing to that.
Yeah, we're I think as we've discussed in our last episode, we're both sort of funneling in on True Detective, which we can talk about more in a bit. Other than that, I've almost finished the binge of Echo, and in between all of that and Fargo finishing up, trying to make my way through season 2 of Slow Horses, which we've talked about quite a bit. So
Yeah.
not too much. Just glad there's some new things for coming online, as it were, over the next few weeks.
Yeah, there's a decent amount of stuff here in January that looks like it may be worth watching, as it were. Um, we published on the site Isabel Greaves' review of Echo today.
Mhm.
If you want to check that out. And on what was it, Friday, the Curse finale, which I read on the Curse all season. So we published the finale article, and then of course people watch it over the weekend, and It was on the linear Showtime. You had a chance to check it out. What did you think?
I frankly loved it. Well, not obviously we're not going to give any spoilers here. Thought that, boy, if one or two guys are going to take the step that they took in that finale, it was going to be Benny Safdie and Nathan Fielder. I
Yeah,
mean, it was just sort of totally on par with sort of what they. It seemed like they were on the edge of all season, but really like, okay, what's happening here? Something's going to sort of be the tipping point. Something's going to just just move into the absolutely wild and absolutely just reaction that you weren't expecting. The My favorite thing that I did on Friday after I watched that was just typed in the curse finale into Google and to see the headlines of the things that were up, right? As
yeah,
people, how people were describing them. And clearly these are non-spoiler headlines, but lots of things, yours was, wait, what? Some of
yeah.
these
I
were,
guess I was just gonna say, maybe I could have done a little better. You know,
and some of them were worst finale ever. What did I just
um,
watch? I mean, so some of them were, the purest form of art. Just all these things, range of reactions, which is what I'm sure what they were hoping for when they produced this finale.
yeah, indeed. I am discovering that I think that Alan Sepinwall and I are opposites, at least when it comes to Nathan Fielder projects.
Yes, yes,
So just to put that out there, if you
yeah,
thoroughly enjoyed the rehearsal and want to read the articles by someone who also did, read mine.
yeah.
If not, go read Sepinwall. He was offended by that one. And then on this one too, he was just kind of like, what's the point of the show or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think he said it was deeply frustrating. Yeah, you got to enjoy that. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I basically loved it too. Don't want to spoil what happens. If people haven't watched it, you know, definitely recommend it. If you're into this sort of thing, anyway, I don't know that it's for everyone, and that might be part of why there are some of those negative reactions that got enough buzz. Everyone, quote
Yeah,
unquote, everyone started feeling like they had to watch it.
yeah. I'd be very curious. I haven't seen any numbers on this show. Have you seen numbers on
I
stream
have not.
reviews or anything?
I have not.
Only on Paramount Plus streaming. So very curious how it certainly got made its way into the discourse and into the critical review. But I haven't seen anything on how
Yeah,
many people watched it.
yeah. So I knew it would. Well, personally, and I don't want to spoil the ending, but I would have been on board for just multiple seasons of banal awkwardness of these characters. Like I would have signed up for that. I don't think we're gonna get that. You never know though, right? Like they're supposed to make a second season of the rehearsal. How?
How? Yeah.
What? But
They're
I guess, maybe it'll
also
happen sometime.
James Marsden came out this week saying how they would be able to make a second season of Jury Duty, which we talked a little bit about how that was this sort of element to that show. So there's some shows I don't understand how they'd be able to do it. But, clearly there are enough people out there that don't have their heads buried in this stuff like we do that they might be able to do it, but you never know.
Yeah, really, just have almost a new idea. Or I mean, I'm really curious about the rehearsal because
Yeah.
that show kind of started out one way and then took a turn and then took another turn. And so if they make more, I think it's just going to go another direction somehow, and I can't predict it
Yeah.
at all. Um, Anyhow, besides that, we watched some game shows. You caught up on Celebrity Jeopardy?
I've not caught up yet. No, I've started working through some, but have not caught up. And combining Celebrity and Jeopardy, I guess you saw this Emma Stone and I guess the curse of this Emma Stone news this week, right? It is her life's goal to be on the real Jeopardy.
Oh, really? I didn't see that.
She submits the test every summer. They let you do it once a year. She really wants to be on. She doesn't want to be on the celebrity one. She wants to be on the real one so she can show that she can compete against that. So I guess you'll never see Emma Stone on Celebrity Jeopardy.
Something of a shame, but I wish her luck in getting on
Yeah.
the flagship, as it were. This past week's episode of Celebrity Jeopardy was Katie Nolan's semifinal.
Oh, I've been
Um,
reading about this. Yes, 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 yes.
and I was glad that I watched it when I did, because we had another Pablo Torre Finds Out episode with Pablo Torre, Katie Nolan, and Dan Soder, um, talking through Katie's appearance in the semifinal. I don't know. I find that immensely entertaining, but you could just watch that if that's what you wanted,
Yeah,
without watching the Jeopardy episode itself. But really cool kind of behind the scenes look and breakdown of the experience of being on Jeopardy, which
yeah,
is
yeah.
cool.
I got to catch up on that. We may have talked about this before, but I am a Jeopardy strategy nerd, particularly as it turns to selection and betting and all this sort of strategy of how that all works. So I need to see how the celebrities handle this because as you said, the flagship folks have kind of figured it out and broken the code there. I need to see how
Oh
the
yeah,
celebrities.
there's some stuff about that in there. Like
Oh, okay.
Katie talks about how she was hunting for the daily doubles.
Yeah, yeah. That's the
Um,
way to do it.
so anyway, recommend both those things. And then I think the next Celebrity Jeopardy comes out like tomorrow or whatever.
Okay.
I think it's on Wednesdays. But yeah, that's about it on my end when we get to Fargo.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's break down this finale.
Okay, so as per usual, on the other side of a little break here, we're going to have spoilers on the table for Fargo, the season finale, season 5, episode 10, titled Bisquick. So this is your big spoiler warning. It'll be about 10 seconds of music. We'll pick up on the other side, talking about Fargo.